Torun, Poland.
Yes.
We are in this beautiful looking city that we're about to enter, and it dates from 1236. And my understanding is that unlike many parts of Poland, this incredible town has never been destroyed. So many of the original buildings are still intact, including the original city wall and this massive gate that we are about to enter through right now. Arrived at the most famous part of Torun, which is the Leaning Tower of Torun, and it has special magical powers apparently, where it can measure the purity of your heart. So we are about to take the test, and I think you should go first.
Oh really?
Yes.
Okay, let's try it.
And we'll see if we are found wanting. So his feet are supposed to go right up against the wall, flat, and you're supposed to be able to, if you're pure of heart of course, stick your hands out in front of you for 2 or 3 seconds without falling.
It's really hard.
Okay.
Yes, I'm impure.
Now I really want to be tested. Yeah.
All right, heels against the wall.
I lasted way less time than you did.
I was just trying to fall in slow motion.
I don't even have time to raise my hand.
No.
You at least had that. I'm way worse than you.
Yeah.
You're telling me.
Very impure.
This is a piece of the original 13th century wall, and these bricks here are original. And more magic in Torun. If you touch these bricks and make a wish, it will come true. So I know exactly what I'm wishing for, which is more purity of heart. Clearly, this is something I'm lacking. So I'm not supposed to tell you my wish, but that's my wish. Okay, ready? Okay. Now I should go try that again. Walking around this beautiful city.
Stunning city.
And we arrived at magic hour, which actually is my favorite time to first come to a city.
Yeah.
When it just looks so beautiful at dusk, and then you see it at night, and then the next morning's like a surprise when you see it in full sun. But the sun's down now, so it's dinner time, and we are hungry and gonna go grab some food. We're here for dinner at a brewery called Jan Olbracht, named after a king of Poland, and I'm really excited about my drink. I ordered a compote, which is always made with different types of fruit, and they boil the fruit, and this is with apple, raspberry, and plum. And I've been completely obsessed with plums while I've been in Poland, and they're in season, so it's absolutely delicious. And I don't know if you can see at the bottom, but there's big chunks of plum, so I'm loving this. And then, Mark, I'll show them your drink too.
Okay.
A large glass of local beer, and not just any beer, but gingerbread flavored beer, because in Torun it's very popular to have gingerbread, and they are known for their gingerbread here. So obviously he had to try that. And this brewery is pretty big, so there are a lot of different places to sit, but I love where we're seated. It's like a giant cutout barrel, and there's just room for the two of us, and it feels a little bit like if hobbits ran a restaurant, then possibly their booths would look a little something like this, and it's just super cozy. Plums in my drink, and now obviously I have to end my meal with plums because they're in season and they're so good. This is plums with gingerbread sauce and ice cream. Oh my god! Why don't I eat plums more? If you eat plums, let me know and tell me more ways that I can eat plums because I need more plums in my life. We're pretty tired now, so we're gonna head back to our hotel. And this city is just stunning. Like, it's honestly stunning, and I cannot wait to look around more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, hope you guys feel the same, and we're gonna get some sleep and see you in a few.
All right. Good night.
Good night. Mark just said do some eye warm-ups.
Eye warm-ups. Now we look nice and awake.
Good morning from our hotel. We're heading down to breakfast shortly before we head back into Torun. But we wanted to show you the view from our balcony because not often do you have a balcony, especially in Europe, in your hotel room. And it's really pretty, so I'm going to show you inside.
Oh.
It's really a treat to be able to come out and actually stand on a balcony and get some fresh air first thing in the morning. We're in the main square now of Torun, and every building here is stunning, so well preserved. It's a miracle that they survived, and Torun was never destroyed. So unlike a lot of other parts of Poland, through years of its history and conflict, a lot of beautiful historical buildings did not survive, but they did in Torun, and the only reason for any of the changes here is because of just normal updating. You know, you own a property and time goes on, it gets maybe a little bit run down or out of fashion, so you want to update it, and that's what happened here. So as you're walking around the city, it's sort of a living museum, the history of architecture in a sense, because, you know, you have Baroque and Gothic and medieval buildings, and they're all side by side, maybe on the same street, depending on who had the money to renovate and who didn't. So walking around is just, it's very, very rewarding. It's just gorgeous. This fountain is important because it tells the story of one of the most famous legends here in Torun. It's the story of a plague of frogs that happened many hundreds of years ago. And now, not only do we have this fountain, but we have these little gold frogs. And I think it's really cool because there are a lot of pigeons in this main square in Torun, and they like to bathe here, and they like to drink from the mouths of the frogs. I have never seen pigeons do this, but it's really cute. And they seem to queue up and take a little sip or fly in front of the stream of water and then fly away. So it's not only a nice testament to this story, but now a place for the pigeons to have a little spa time. Are you terrorizing them or trying to make friends?
Trying to make friends. I think they're quite cute. I know you're on the fence about pigeons,
They're
but
just a little suspicious.
I think they're adorable. I saw one sneeze. So
really?
cute.
You saw it sneeze?
And after seeing them bathing and drinking out of the fountain, like, I might be on the pigeon train. I might become one of those people that feeds them.
Yeah. These kids are loving it too. So cute. In a city as old as Torun, they have accumulated a fair number of nicknames over the years, and one of them that I quite like is Gingerbread City. And it's because this has been a center for gingerbread making since the 14th century. And they have a little walk of fame here in the main square, and you can see the shape of the typical Torun gingerbread, and it looks like, well, it looks like two different things, so I'll tell you the story for both. The legend goes that there was a very famous master gingerbread maker, and he had a very talented apprentice, and the apprentice needed to come up with a way for people to buy more of their gingerbread, and so he was coming up with a design, and the master said, if you can get this right, you can marry my very beautiful daughter. So the stakes were very high. So the apprentice was sitting there trying to come up with some amazing design for their gingerbread, and he drew two hearts, like this, joined by two rings. And so that is how this came about, and they did have a wonderful marriage after that, so the legend goes. I don't think the women had much say in any of this, by the way. The other story is that it's a little less romantic, but that he had, you know, just regular circular cookie cutters, and he had 6 of them in the oven and put them too close together, and they all formed one giant super gingerbread. So when you look at the form, you can choose to see what you wish, as everything in life, and I'm going to choose to see 2 hearts with 2 rings joining them together forever. Mark is loving the pigeons in Torun.
You can tell I need some pet therapy because, like, normally I'm a dog lover, but I'm just like, give me the pigeons.
He's like, look how the pigeon's holding it. Holding the kielbasa.
Did you see how it's flipping it around in the air?
Playing with its food.
It's so cute. Like, it's just going all down the street doing it.
Of well-known, beloved symbols of Torun, but actually I think this probably tops them all. This is the donkey, as you can tell, and this is where a donkey very similar to this, made of wood, stood for many, many hundreds of years in this exact spot on one corner of the main square here in Torun. And the donkey was a form of punishment, a painful punishment, because you had to sit on top. And what was it a punishment for, you ask? Gossip. So it was assigned to the people not to gossip about their fellow citizens, because if you did, you would have to sit on top of this very hard metal piece on top of the wooden version of this donkey. And a normal interval would be, say, 6 up to 8 hours of just sitting here as people walked by. And not only were you in pain physically, everyone who walked by you knew that you were a town gossip. The most famous and important person associated with the city of Torun is Mr. Nicolaus Copernicus, who is paid tribute to in the statue behind me. Copernicus was a true Renaissance man in the sense that he was an astronomer, a mathematician, he translated, he was interested in economics, all sorts of subjects, an absolutely brilliant, brilliant man. And of course what he's best known for is coming up with a heliocentric model of the universe. So he published this in 1543, and before that time, everyone believed that the Earth was at the center of the universe. And he came up with a way of proving that no, it was the sun at the center of the universe, and he could explain and show the movement of celestial bodies without putting Earth at the center. So this was obviously completely earth-shattering and changed the course of science as we know it. And he is from right here in Torun. And so the townspeople here wanted to pay tribute and also, of course, take credit for this amazing man who was born here. And he's standing. In a lot of statues of Copernicus, he's seated sort of in state. And here, this is his home city. So he's standing, he's the host, he's welcoming people to the town. And you'll notice that his finger is raised, and there are 2 ways of interpreting that. One, of course, is that he's pointing up at the sky, which makes a lot of sense. And the second is that he's sort of motioning like, ah, or wagging like this to everyone who comes to Torun, saying, look, you're on my home turf, you better keep it together, I'm watching you. This is a very important place in the city of Torun. It's the best, or one of the best examples of a medieval city in all of Europe, so much so that the entire old town is actually protected by UNESCO now. And what do you find, you know, in a medieval city? A castle, and Torun is no different. This city was founded in the year 1236 by the Teutonic Knights, and this was their castle. There were about 13 to 30-ish people living here at a time with all of their servants, and it was a place to, of course keep them safe from invaders as they ruled the town around them. And they ruled for hundreds of years, and at some point the townspeople didn't want them to be their rulers anymore, and they were overthrown, and they decided to demolish the castle so that in the future no one from the Teutonic Order could come back and kind of reclaim the castle if there was nothing left to reclaim. So that is why this is laying in ruins while the rest of the city is so well preserved. And Poland, of course, has so much conflict throughout its history, and it's unbelievable in a way that this incredible city was saved where so many others were destroyed. So we are so lucky that now this is protected by UNESCO. I couldn't leave without showing you this. So most of the castle was destroyed. However, the townspeople felt it would be very appropriate to keep part of the castle that represented what the Teutonic Knights they felt did so well. I give you the castle toilet. So this is clearly symbolic for the feelings of the townspeople. And this tower was indeed the toilet for the knights, so they would cross over this bridge and sit down. They had a little row with cutouts, and there's a river, which you can still hear, that runs underneath, and the waste would be carried down into the Vistula River down there. And they don't really know, historians don't really know exactly what the castle looked like, but based on what they have found and excavated, there's a rendering, a drawing of what they believe it looked like. And so you can see how this part, the toilet tower if you will, was connected to the rest of the castle when it existed. The toilet tower is right behind us, and this is now a hotel, but this building actually used to be the mill for the Teutonic Knights, and you can hear the lovely sound of the rushing water, which is still going by here. And that is where the excrement would have been swept away, or word is that they actually did secret executions up in the toilet, where they would execute people and then throw the body down the toilet, and the body would be washed out through this river. So it's still here now, and what I think is really cool is that you can still look down and see in the brick where the mill wheel was constantly turning. You can still see the marks. This is the courtyard of the Gingerbread Museum, so obviously a very important part of the city. I wish I could smell the beautiful scent of gingerbread right now, but I can't because this used to be the factory for many years, but it has since been moved outside of the old town. But it makes a lot of sense now that this beautiful brick building is where you can go to find out more about the history, and you can go inside and actually buy some, which I think we should do. Yeah?
Yes,
okay.
Let's go.
I wanted to find the classic shape, which they're still making here and have been since, as I said, many years. And you can see the classic shape. So I don't know if you see a bakery project gone wrong, or like me, the two hearts with the rings in the middle. But they're still selling the gingerbread in this shape. And then there's the chocolate version, which strikes me as quite a nice update. So we'll have to decide what we want to get. There's also this classic one, which has the sugar on the outside, and it's in the shape of hearts. So I actually think we should go with this one.
Let's do it.
It's not the classic shape, but apparently it's more the classic taste, which I think is more important.
Yeah.
So let's get this one.
All right.
Okay. We have a whole bag of these and plenty of time today, so I think we should just sit here and enjoy.
In this park.
We're gonna wrap up the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed getting to know Torun as much as we have. It's stunning. It reminds me a lot of Prague, actually, but without the big crowds and the big prices. Yeah. So definitely recommend coming here if you're in Poland. Yeah. And if you liked the video, remember to give it a like and subscribe for lots more travel adventures together. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye.